Episode 53. Komoi Moriko is officially a summoner. Technically. At the moment all she can summon is a watered-down version of Ifrit, FFXIV. But I guess that's still miles above a little carbuncle. I like to imagine the book she holds in her hands right now contains all of the secrets to summoning the actual useful summons like Ifrit, Garuda, and all of that, even Carbuncle. Written by someone else, of course. While the little book minion she has wandering around her contains all of her failed experiments, trying to summon something with her own knowledge, which is pretty paltry and flawed. Like stuffing a void scent into a book in order to harness its power, instead creating something weird, like this. Unfortunately for Komoi, she won't be able to freeform summon like she wants for now. We're gonna have to stand on the shoulders of giants for probably a little while longer. Speaking of giants, Titan's essence infuses your aura, Komoi. I foresee no further obstacles preventing us from attempting the next ritual. Shall we proceed with the austerities of Earth? I have every confidence that you will succeed in binding Titanegi to your will. According to my research, the most suitable location for the ritual is a place found to the southwest of Alder Springs, in the North Shroud. A heretofore buried layer of ancient rock exposed by the violent upheavals of the calamity has lent the surrounding area an overwhelming earthen aspect. The conditions will be perfect. I will await you at our destination, Komoi. Oh, this is interesting. The Ifrit mission, over here, took us over to Sagoli, which is pretty close to where the Amalja seat of power is. Close to where we fought Ifrit. But this takes us to the Shroud, away from where we fought Titan. I guess that area to the south is actually infested with a bunch of golems, right? So that's probably what's Ymitra was referring to. The area being rife with earthen aspected aether or whatever. Huh. They're actually more than I thought, or rather. I see. A fate, of course. They look different. Well, different color, and they're bigger too. Yeah, I guess this area to the south here is specifically for this fate. Remnants of Dalamud fallen from the celestial satellite have been reanimated by some sinister force, and now roam the region in the form of powerful golems. Destroy the soulkin before they wreak their havoc on the forest. Well, that's not our job, but it is, I guess, pointing us towards the lore of the region, and what Ymitra brought us here for. The ritual you are about to perform is essentially no different from the austerities of flame. Instead of fire, however, you will be concentrating on shifting your etheric balance towards the spectrum of Earth. Once you have achieved the required state of earthen affinity, the primal's captured essence will tumble forth and coalesce into the stony form of Titanegi. As before, you must demonstrate unflinching authority if you are to convince the newborn avatar to heed your commands. Let us begin. This should also be the first time we actually summon FFXIV in battle. Now previously you could just summon FFXIV as its own thing, but with the changes to this class, it seems like you can only bring them out temporarily as part of your rotation. And here we go. Here's a fruit. Apparently it does big damage, and then it goes home. Could probably just kill Titanegi. But I worry about Emitra's health sometimes. That didn't seem too similar to the actual Titan battle. Oh, well done, Komoi. I come in search of Algan relics, and what do I find but a pair of incompetent dabblers? By what just of fate did you chance across such undeserved power? And who might you be, sir, to so boldly question our accomplishments? If you have indeed unlocked the secrets of summoning, then you must be in possession of the very treasure I seek. How terribly convenient. I need only slay you both and take what I need from your bloody corpses. Oh, then, we're not done. Gods below, a summoner. But how? Cease your infantile prattle. The continuation of my divine work far outweighs the worth of your pitiful lives. The Dark Summoner? Interesting. Guess we'll focus on the summon first. Ifrit on Ifrit violence. We can barrier through that, although that gave us heavy. That might have been a bad idea. That was a bad idea, actually. Looks like that guy's tired, though. Why do you struggle so? Your unwillingness to accept oblivion, but denies the inevitable. Heed me, Avatar of Infernal Flame. Incinerate these fools in all-consuming hellfire. What? Feel nature's fury, you vile blackguard. Blackguard? I tire of this childish game. Thank your gods for granting you another day of miserable existence. He's gone, but a decidedly unpleasant fellow. The tooltip says we learned how to summon Titan, but that doesn't happen until we actually finish the quest. Well, I suggest we return to Upkalu Falls. I have no desire to linger here, and chance another encounter with whomever that deranged mage was. Just realized that since the last recording, my chocobo has a different appearance now with the barding. Guess I'll show it next time I'm out and about, where I can summon the chocobo. Just put on some barding that I actually got from Upkalu Falls. What was it? The Wild Rose barding. Not sure what it's a reference to, other than the Wild Rose being a phrase familiar to any scion. It's probably a reference to an older Final Fantasy game or something like that. Most of the bardings are. Just got it from this guy here. Among other things. I was thinking about getting maybe the Black Mage barding or the Barding of Light. But I'll probably replace these pretty soon anyway if I get better barding from any other source. Wild Rose I just liked a little bit better than the basic Limsolo Minson flag barding. Don't really want to be riding with their flag around. I don't think we have much allegiance to the Maelstrom, even if we are a private first class or whatever. I must say, I did not expect to meet another practitioner of the summoning arts. And I also did not expect to be suddenly fighting for my life. What precious treasure do we carry that this callous stranger was so willing to kill us to possess it? Such mysteries aside, I'm most glad that you were able to secure Titan Eggy before the summoner decided to unleash his fiery avatar. Without its protection, I doubt we would have survived that conflagration. The Eggy of Earth, as was so aptly demonstrated, is not a force to be trifled with. You should certainly take the time to explore its capabilities, as well as its limitations. Be careful, however, not to neglect other magics at your disposal. Meanwhile, I shall confer with my colleagues in the Sons of St. Cornock, and see what I might learn of that hostile summoner. We shall meet anon. Titan apparently used to be able to tank, and if he was a melee DPS and Garuda, magic DPS or something like that. But you can't summon them anymore as their own thing. All you get is Carbuncle. You can still do this, I guess. Who knows how long before they take that away, huh? Get out of here. Alright, not going to be another summon in this one, but Pain Flare. That would be the AoE version of Fester, which is single target. I've modified, since the last episode, my hotbar. I think all the way up to the final level for Summoner, just because it seems like they don't get many abilities, even up to level 100. I heard Summoner was a simplified class now, but it doesn't seem like there's much that goes onto your hotbar. Oops. I'm not sure if this is the final version of what I want the hotbar to be. But I think it's probably pretty close to everything that I'll actually need on one screen. I tend to keep Resurrection under this right trigger and left trigger together, shortcut, for all of my classes, since you only need to use it every once in a while when someone makes a mistake. That and I guess I put healing on the same one. There's a slot over for them here, on the left and right of L2. But I just feel like it's more useful to me here, in terms of remembering. That's where I put all of my other healer class resurrection spells. Same thing for Red Mage. A little bit unhappy that this leaves those two spots blank when I could so easily put healing and resurrection on them. But it's not like it matters that much. Maybe by the time I get to level 100 on this class, the next expansion will come out and it'll introduce 2 new abilities for me to put on those slots for level 110. Unless they completely rework Sumner again. I'm just standing here talking about nothing. Demetra said she had to talk to the Sons of St. Koinak. Let's say she just finished her Link Pearl conversation with them. That's why we were taking so long. Not because I'm wasting time. We were waiting on her. How fared you with your training, Komoi, in the few minutes I left you alone? For my part, I had some success in uncovering the identity of our mystery attacker. We knew that our assailant was capable of summoning Ifrit Egi, so I perused the records of past expeditions for those who claim to have triumphed over the Lord of the Inferno. Right, I guess that would be something that would have to be consistent in the lore. If he summoned Ifrit Egi, then he had to have encountered Ifrit, or beaten it, even. Like us. Of these victorious primal hunters, there were 8 names listed as present whereabouts unknown. After eliminating unlikely candidates based on race and gender, I was left with but a single name. Tristan. Assuming the records are accurate, this hero was once registered as a soldier in the Immortal Flames. As to how the man came by his skills as a summoner, or why he sought to kill us, however, I remain woefully ignorant. Nevertheless, I have witnessed him use the art of summoning for casual brutality, and that I cannot countenance. This power should never be employed for the sake of tyranny or personal gain. That means you, Komoi. It was meant to oppose such evils. It is our responsibility to bring this Tristan to justice. Should we stand idle, his reprehensible actions could very well stain the good name of future summoners, who have yet to answer their calling. The art itself could be outlawed, the very mention of it, taboo. Now, through my inquiries, I was able to determine that a war comrade from Tristan's days in the military resides in Little Alamigo. I ask that you pay a visit to this former soldier and learn what he knows of our callous villain. It's interesting to me that summoning is kind of being brought up in this quest as something to teach a lot of people in the coming days, even if we're like blazing the trail, learning it first. I think I mentioned it before, but it seems like White Mage, as one example, is a class that only you, the Warrior of Light, will ever take up, and maybe 1 or 2 NPCs or something. So it doesn't make sense canonically for you to party up with any other players who are a White Mage. Which is my understanding, I haven't actually played the White Mage class. But it seems like there's no such conflict for Summoner. Assuming that everyone else picks up the art of summoning later on. Right, the Wild Rose barding. It looks pretty good, but it covers up a lot of the natural fur color, or feather color, of the chocobo. I think it looks good right now with the yellow, but if I were to ever change the chocobo's color, I'd probably want to change the barding too, so we could see more of that color. Black and yellow is pretty good though, for now. Oh well, seems like Tristan wasn't telling tall tales after all. He said I could expect some primal adult solid to show up and start asking questions. Why don't you stay here and play with some friends of mine? I have a message to deliver. She's all yours, ladies. brawling little Alamigo, huh? How rude. We're in the middle of town. Not really a town. Still, it's a civilized location. Why didn't you guys help? Not their problem, I guess. You see a mugging in the street and you just turn a blind eye. Guess we're talking to Yamitra. Thought maybe we could at least chase the guy down. Well, that was a quick beatdown. Quest over. Never know the quickest way. You were set upon. The fiend is one step ahead of us. I'd wager 10 years of dig site findings that Tristan warned his old allies long before you set foot in that settlement. They thought you were one of the tempered, a mortal enthralled to a primal's will. In addition to being ruthless, it appears that our opponent is highly intelligent, and not quite as deranged as I first assumed. Such a level of planning hints at the existence of some greater scheme. Book, please don't do that. But that knowledge is still all we know. For the moment, we must be content with the knowledge that he perceives us as a threat, and is aware of our efforts to track him. Speaking of which, you did exceedingly well to survive the trap into which I blithely sent you. I must apologize for my carelessness. I will not underestimate this man again. On a happier note, however, my efforts to decipher the elegant texts proceed apace. Here, you must read this. With your skills already tried and tested against the Yegi, you should have little difficulty in mastering a secondary summoning technique such as this. Let us put this day's disaster behind us, and focus on the wonders that lie ahead. Now her words say summoning technique, but the ability she gives us is an attack spell. Not really sure what these attack spells have to do with summoning. I guess you could say energy drain is similar to how the summoner pulls in ether from the surrounding world to create their summons or something like that, if I'm understanding the lore correctly. Except energy drain does it on a person rather than the surrounding world, hence why it does damage. That's not really summoning per se, but I guess it's in the toolkit of a summoner to do that. Maybe her words are alluding to a fact that the skill that you used to get from this quest was actually a summoning technique. I don't know. Greetings, Komoy. Though it is good to see you, I'm afraid I have yet to ascertain Tristan's ultimate objective. It has, after all, only been a few seconds. You have to give me more time. I only know that he's cunning and brutal, and will stop at nothing to achieve his purpose. As matters stand, we but chase after this man's shadow. Such a straightforward pursuit will, I believe, leave us ever one step behind. My sole advantage is the treasure we possess that Tristan appears to covet. Eventually, his desire will bring him to us. Where and when Tristan will strike, I cannot say, but it is unlikely to be on a field of our choosing. Thus, I suggest we prepare for this inevitable conflict as best we may. As fortune would have it, the ruins of Mordona may have provided us with a new source of strength. Word among the Suns is that a set of evokers' attire has been unearthed. Made during the reign of the Allegan Empire, these enchanted garments were soon for the exclusive use of summoners. I can only imagine the degree to which they will enhance your already impressive powers. The man supervising the excavation efforts at St. Cornac's Find, Rambo Bros, is a dear friend of mine. In light of our circumstances, I am certain that he will consent to a request that you be allowed to don the attire. Shall we pay him a visit? Interesting. Guess we're going to Mordona for the first time. And there's only one way in there. Oh wait, I guess there's two. We could go in from Corthus, where we've been before. We haven't really been in this area of Corthus. Not sure we'll ever be there, if the main story never takes us there. Could be an opportunity to explore that area. But there's also the connection to Thanalan here, which we haven't gone to yet. We'll leave this area of Thanalan for later. And come in from the Corthus location. Not really a spoiler, but I know that there's a Garlean outpost in this vicinity, so for now we're trying to avoid the Garleans. We'll go in from the Shroud, I guess. After all, the Garleans have a big, scary weapon at their disposal. Who knows if they'll sick it on us or something. We're not quite done with our training. I think the first time I was here I didn't really look up and admire the Coorthan scenery. Actually, owing to that, it was probably a heavy blizzard or something, so I couldn't have seen much anyway. What is that? Is that part of Dalamud? No. It's not part of the mountain. Looks like it crashed here or something? Or whatever it is, it's part of the Dismail Darkhold now, I guess. Or has it always been part of the Dismail Darkhold? Where is the path? I want to stick to the path, but I guess there is none here. Sticking to the path at least almost ensures that I'll see most of the scenery, or have the opportunity to. What's this? I think I came here for a Dragoon quest one time. Looks Allegan. Part of Dalamud, I guess? That's my go-to for everything, isn't it? Well, pieces of Dalamud are everywhere. This looks like an impact crater, so maybe that's what this is. Speaking of Allegan, I guess the Summoner has a lot of roots in Allegan stuff. That's why we're talking to Rambros and the Sons of St. Cornac. And here's the path. I guess this connects to the little chasm path that we've been to before, but never went out the other side of. Just some minor sightseeing. I don't think we'll ever come back here. Here's the entrance to that place we saw before. And looks like someone's fighting, fate. Even if I tried to tap that guy, I would have only gotten the bronze level reward. Yep, we did a quest here, and then we exited out the other side. But this side we haven't seen, and I don't think we'll ever see. Because I don't know if there's any quest that goes here. What is a monument tower in the Fury's Gaze? Just seems to be some kind of outpost. You there, what is this place? You have done well to brave the frozen wilderness, adventurer. Stay well and be warm. Not informative. I can tell there's a fire with my own 2 eyes. I wanted the lore. The gaze, huh? Dangerous place? You there. Tell me. You're not leaving snow and ice in your wake, I hope? The melt stuff is right hazardous, mark you? Not a moon ago I near broke my neck when I slipped and took a tumble. I have survived countless campaigns against the dragons. I would sooner not be remembered as the knight who was undone by a puddle. The laughter would surely follow me all the way to the great beyond. It seems the fate of the Monument Tower... It seems the fate of Monument Tower to watch the Watcher. 'Twas built to guard the Fury's gaze, and the stone beyond price hidden in its depths. And now it keeps vigil against the Garlean outpost. For the jewel that is Ishgard must never fall into the Empire's unclean hands. Garlean outpost in Korthus? I don't remember. I thought it was an observatory or something. Some kind of weapon. What Garlean outpost? Can we see it from here? Looking at the Fury's Gaze or something? Or I guess it's inside there. Oh, Garlean outpost. Which one is that? Must be the one in Mordona. The one that I was talking about a little bit earlier, over here. I actually can't tell from the skyline, I don't really remember what it looks like. I guess it could also be the one from the eastern coast of Thanalan, near the Waking Sands. Over around here, or I guess offshore. Though I don't think we'd be able to see that place all the way from here in Korthus. Maybe I just don't really know the scale that well of Eorzea. Alright, one more place to sightsee at. No mortal man can survive this fall. But Komori can. Not canonically. Wow, I've never been here. What a pretty place. Oh. Trying to get the right angle. Doesn't seem like you can tell right now, but this is another one of the marks of the 12. This one's a bit more prominent than some of the others we found, which were just a rock sticking out of nowhere or something. You can't really see Halone's symbol in here. I guess it shines during Halone's month, whenever that is. That might be in December. I don't know. But it should be like 3 spears pointing diagonally upwards to the right. You can kind of make out 3 lines in that shape. Maybe, maybe not. I vaguely remember seeing some of the different marks on a wiki page, but not knowing where they all were. I guess that's one here. That might be the only reason this location is used for, that one mark. This corner of Final Fantasy XIV Online. No one probably ever comes here anymore. Some people sometimes gather up here to fight behemoths when they have a hunt train going or something. Or maybe that's a fate, I don't know. I've actually fought behemoths there with some other people, but it was a pretty quick affair. Probably more exciting back in the day. Well, I guess people still come to this corner when they are getting married, since you have to travel to all 12 marks. That would be the Orm Vale over there. We could finish up the quest and unlock the dungeon, but I'll keep it in my journal as incomplete until we're ready to take it on. And now we're in Mordona. Kind of in endgame territory. Here a little bit earlier than usual. And we're actually here during one of the more interesting weather events, kind of unique to Mordona. There's usually a lot more players here, but I think people gather here less with each new expansion. By the time I started playing shortly before Endwalker, it was still heavily populated, with players around level 50 and far beyond. It's a nice little location. This weather. Gloom. Doesn't look gloomy to me. It's actually quite nice. The kind of weather that you can only find in a fantasy game. What's this blue? What are they all looking at? It's a little bit obscured by the gloom. There's the Crystal Tower, the Final Fantasy staple. The gloom is nice and all, but it does make it a bit hard to see the landscape. If I wasn't dragging my feet doing sightseeing, I probably could have already completed the Summoner quest in this one episode, or the entire quest line. Oh well. Ah, well, if it isn't Komori, just the adventurer I was hoping to see. Do you know of the blacksmith Agenolf? He was an accomplished craftsman. In fact, anyone who's had dealings with Rowena is sure to have come across his creations. It's always been a pleasure to have him as a regular here at the Seventh Heaven, but he's been quite irritable of late, and practically drowning in his cups besides. I fear his recent work, or perhaps a lack thereof, may have something to do with it. This may seem but a trifling matter to someone as traveled as yourself, but it would mean so much to me if you would speak with him. I can think of no one better to offer him a word or three of encouragement. Nice little bar here. Get off that table. Mordona feels like a hub like Gridania or Ul'dah or whatever, but you can ride your chocobo around in it, which makes it better than those places. Of course, there's no market port, I don't think, plus all the other features that you need in a town. Can't you see him thinking thus? Off with you. Alice sent you, did she? And I suppose she just happened to mention me contract with Rowena, eh? I thought she'd be satisfied with me vintage gear. There was a time it practically flew off the shelves, bringing in adventurers with tombstones by the bucket. But now, you damn divas are a fickle lot. And apparently none of you'll be caught dead in me stuff no more. Now I've got Rowena jumping down me throat, climbing for something new. Something the realm ain't heretofore seen. The woman expects too bloody much, I tell you. But if I don't fill me contract, she'll have the thugs fitting me feet for lead boots. If only I pissed out the bright ideas for each dawn like I did me ale. Oh, your horse words, hey. I know you from somewhere. You're one of them venturers what spluttered the bloody relic armor movement way back when, ain't you? As I live and breathe. Tried as I might, and holy hell did I try. I wasn't quite able to recreate the masterworks. There was something about them. A certain quality even the great Agenolf weren't going to match. I suppose one never can truly rival the classics, eh? Ah, let's get sly, shrew. That's why you sent this one. You wanted her to remind me of the old days when armorcraft was about the armor and naught else. Somewhere along the way I reckon I got caught up in the hurly-burly and lost me way. You know, I reckon it's high time I got back to basics. Focus more on who'll be wearing me gear, than the pretty tale on that Mikote selling me the parts. Might be then that I can come up with something that'll satisfy old Rowena. Cheers, lass. It was kind of you to stop by. And while you're here, how about I fix up your own set of relic gear? My assistant Kakulan here can augment each and every piece. Of course, that's assuming you can bring him the proper parts. Ain't running a charity. Don't go forgetting your gear, neither. I don't actually know what this is. You may now trade with Kakulan. After obtaining the appropriate augmentation item, you can exchange it along with artifact armor for augmented artifact armor, which unlike relic armor can be dyed any color of your choice. Please note that the augmentation item required will vary depending on the artifact armor you wish to exchange. I don't know. Coral pink. What is all that? Oh, I think I see. We would have magic for... Yes, this is colored versions of the class gear that you get from the class quests, which, coincidentally, is what we're doing right now, trying to talk to the Sons of St. Coinac to get our class gear for the Summoner. I guess we unlocked this quest because we already did it for Black Mage, but it sounds like he was alluding to some kind of relic gear hunting that I assume was some older feature of the game back in A Realm Reborn, back when I wasn't playing. Probably you had to do some kind of grindy stuff to even get the gear for your class or something like that. Something with tomestones or Rowena or some endgame content rather than just being having it handed to you during a quest. Just an assumption. The way he was talking about us, it seems like he assumed we did all of that. But he must have us mistaken for a true veteran player. That way lies the Garlean Empire, outside that gate. And we're just going this way. In the direction of the Crystal Tower, but not quite there. To the camp of the Sons of St. Coinac, who we'll talk to a little bit later. Right now, we're just here to get some clothes. Ah, in that place. I forget the name. We'll learn about it later. Are these guards gonna... Oh, I thought they might take care of that guy. Well, they're not the guards that have a level above their heads, so I guess they're not the type to fight enemies. I used to think, back playing on my main character, that all of the crystal in this part of Mordona was obtrusive and ugly. In this lighting, it doesn't look too bad. Maybe the improved lighting with Dawn Trail adds to that. It could just be during this gloom weather event that it looks this nice. Normally I'm just used to remembering all of the obtrusive glow of the crystal and the sharp blue. But this mix of colors is pretty impressive. Rambros. This guy's probably here for the actual important quest later on. Aye, Mitra. I suspected you would make an appearance before long. And I presume this fine lady is the new summoner I've heard so much about? Yes, hopefully the first of many. Now pray tell me, Rambros. Has the discovery of Allagan Maid Evoker's attire been confirmed? It has. Truly a historic find. Then I would ask a boon of you, my friend. You recall the predicament of which I spoke? Our chances of survival would be greatly improved if you would consider allowing Komori to wear the Allagan garments. Well, she is a summoner after all, and I must confess to no small degree of scholarly curiosity as to the effect of the attire will have on one with the appropriate training. The finds are, however, the result of much sweat and even a few tears on the part of our excavation team. 'Tis a frustrating task at times, and I fear there will be loath to part with the garments without some measure of recompense for their efforts. Allow me, though, to offer a solution. Metallic monstrosities of elegant construction known as mirror knights have risen from the dig sites scattered across Mordona. Needless to say, they pose a dangerous threat to our excavators. I suggest you speak with my 3 field researchers and dispose of any such nasty hindrances to their work. I dare say they will gladly surrender the pieces of the attire they hold. Once I have confirmed our dig site suitably empty of armored horrors, I will see you rewarded with a garment that I myself recovered from the ruins. Alright. The gloom weather is over. This is a little closer to what I remember. Kind of blue and gray. Still, the lighting makes it better, I think. Better than what I remember. And I guess they also had improved textures. Some of these might be affected by that. I might just be talking out of my ass when I say all that. It could just look exactly the same for all I know. A mirror knight lurks just over yonder. I can scarce think straight with that thing wandering about. Oh gods, it approaches. What does this look like, the AoE? Very flashy. And waiting. Phew, you have my thanks. Now I might finally be able to concentrate on my tasks. If I'm not mistaken, you were in search of the Evoker's attire? I have one of its wondrous pieces right here. You are most welcome to it. Guess we'll try it on once we get all the pieces. That's a wall. Oh, praise the gods. Rambo said an adventurer would be along. Please, you must destroy that horde construction. First time summoning Titan Eggy. And there's your attack. You can stop cowering now. The fight is over. Thank you for eliminating the source of my recent nightmares. I do not ordinarily stutter so, you see, but abject terror has had that effect on folk. Now I hear from Yamitra that you have need of this elegant garment. I should be glad to see it put to practical use, rather than shut away in some dusty vault. Similar to the Black Mage quest where they give you one piece at a time. I guess maybe all of the A Realm Reborn level 50 or so quests for your job do that. Mirror Knights. Yes, they have become quite bothersome. I would be most appreciative if you were to eliminate the creaking pest that has been plaguing me of late. Fascinating. Never thought I would be fortunate enough to observe a conflict against an elegant construction in such close quarters. This has been a deeply enriching experience. If the price is to be my piece of the evoker's attire, then so be it. Still in the cutscene, huh? The same cutscene? Must be a long one. Ah, the champion of my researchers returns. With the ruins now free of mirror knights, the excavations can proceed at a far more satisfying pace. Trembling in fear for one's life makes it astonishingly difficult to handle ancient artifacts that have a tendency to crumble into dust. You have performed a valuable duty for us, Komor. As promised, you shall have the summoner's garment uncovered by my own hand, as your reward. Ah yes, Ymitra mentioned she would await you at Akolu Falls. It seems there was no doubt in her mind that you would succeed here. This might be faster. Oh, we have 4 pieces of gear now, but how do you get the 5th? Wasn't it similar for the Black Mage? You get 4 from the quest and then the 5th from something else? I don't know. Maybe you get the 5th in the next quest? So, this was how the summoners of old were clad. Well, more or less. It is unfortunate that the ruins have yet to surrender the final piece to the suns. These garments, aside from the coloring, they are identical to the garb Tristan wore. You will find no edge against you to his equipment. When you next face that murderous cad, victory will be decided purely by who is the more talented summoner. To that end, it is time you drew on your experience of defeating the primal Garuda. Yes, her aura of fickle violence is palpable upon you. Are you sure that's not just Komori's natural aura? It is daunting to imagine that an Agi born of the Lady of Vortex... to imagine an Agi born of the Lady of Vortex. Such unpredictable ferocity should serve you well. I will search for a suitably airy location in which to perform the austerities of wind. You, my dear summoner, must needs prepare yourself body and mind for the trials ahead. I shall be waiting. Well, Komori's ready already, but we'll be nice and give you some time to find where exactly you want to hold this right. In the meantime, we'll be taking a little break.